He was born on July 8, 1992, in Chuncheon, South Korea, the son of a former football player, and from an early age he was surrounded by the world of sports. But what seemed like an ordinary upbringing would soon turn into something extraordinary. At just 16 years old, he made a life-altering decision. He left everything he knew behind and traveled across the world to Germany, chasing a dream that felt almost impossible. Most people didn't believe he'd make it. But Son Heung-min was different. His journey wasn't easy. From playing in youth teams no one remembers, to fighting for his spot in one of Europe's toughest leagues, Son's rise was filled with moments of doubt, sacrifice, and quiet determination. In 2009, the world got a glimpse of his potential when he led South Korea to the quarter-finals of the U17 World Cup. He even scored in a crucial match, but his team fell, and the world moved on. Still, Son didn't stop. From the shadows of small training grounds to the bright lights of Bundesliga stadiums, every step he took was a step closer to greatness. But this isn't just a football story. This is the story of how one boy, against all odds, became the face of a nation, a global icon, and one of the most feared forwards in the modern game. You may know his name, but you don't know his journey. Until now. At first, he was just another promising young talent. But with time, Son Heung-min transformed into something far greater, a player capable of taking on any role, adapting to any challenge, and rising in the face of every obstacle thrown his way. At Hamburg, he quickly proved that he wasn't just a one-position player. Whether as a central striker, a winger on either side, or a second forward, Son made it clear he could do it all. And he didn't just play in those roles, he thrived. That season, Hamburg didn't achieve anything historic. They finished a modest 7th in the Bundesliga, but while the team was average, Son was anything but. He became the club's top scorer with 12 goals, standing out as their brightest star, their go-to man, their difference maker. Naturally, that kind of brilliance doesn't go unnoticed. Soon, the big clubs came knocking, and that's when Bayer Leverkusen stepped in. After 3 seasons, 78 appearances and 20 goals for Hamburg, Son made the move to Leverkusen. The club paid $10 million for him, the most they had ever spent on a player at that time, and from the start, he showed why he was worth every cent. In his very first season, Son became one of the most influential players on the team. Leverkusen finished 4th in the league, securing a Champions League spot, and Son was everywhere. Relentless in attack, dangerous in transition, a nightmare for defenders. In the 2013-14 season, he played 43 of the team's 46 games, scored 12 goals, and provided 7 assists. His development wasn't just noticeable, it was astonishing. Then came the call every player dreams of, the World Cup. In 2014, Son traveled to Brazil as the undisputed star of the South Korean national team. Expectations were high, but reality hit hard. The team couldn't make it past the group stage, falling to Algeria and Belgium, and managing only a draw against Russia. Their journey ended early, and Son's heartbreak was visible for all to see. But he didn't let that stop him. Back at Leverkusen for the 2014-15 season, Son continued to shine. Once again, the club finished 4th in the Bundesliga and reached the Champions League round of 16, just like the year before. But this time, something bigger was brewing behind the scenes. Tottenham Hotspur came calling, ready to break the bank to bring Son to the Premier League. For $18 million, Son made the move to London, becoming the most expensive Asian footballer in history, surpassing Japanese star Hidetoshi Nakata. But things didn't go smoothly at first. Adapting to English football was tough. The pace was faster, the pressure heavier, the expectations enormous. Mauricio Pochettino introduced him gradually into the squad, and while Tottenham had a strong season, finishing 3rd in the league, Son had to fight for his place. He played 40 matches, scored 8 goals, and added 6 assists. Not bad, but far from what he was capable of. And then came another chance to wear his country's colours, this time at the Rio 2016 Olympics. Still eligible due to his age, Son led the South Korean side with determination and pride. The team looked strong in the group stage, but in the quarter-finals, they were stunned by Honduras in a painful 1-0 defeat. Son scored 2 goals in 4 games and once again showed just how much he carried the hopes of his nation on his shoulders. But the turning point was coming. In the 2016-17 season, now fully adjusted to life in England, Son truly exploded. No more hesitation, no more settling in. He became a key figure in Tottenham's attack, constantly threatening defenders with his speed, precision, and instinct for goal. The team challenged Chelsea for the Premier League title, falling just short by 6 points. In domestic cups, Tottenham didn't go all the way, but Son made his mark, finishing as the top scorer in the FA Cup with 6 goals. By the end of the season, he had played 42 matches, scored 21 goals, and delivered 7 assists. He was no longer just promising, he was elite. And it didn't stop there. In the following season, he solidified his place as a cornerstone of the squad. With Harry Kane by his side, Son formed one of the most dangerous attacking duos in Europe. Tottenham secured 3rd place again, earning another shot at the Champions League. Son's reputation grew. He wasn't just a fan favourite anymore. He was a leader, a symbol, a player who inspired not only his teammates, but an entire generation back home. Then came 2018, Russia, the World Cup. For South Korea, the stakes were high, and Son carried the weight of a nation on his back. Though still young, he was already a seasoned professional, a star with years of European experience. The world watched closely. Would this be the year he finally took South Korea beyond the group stage again? What happened next would be remembered forever. Sometimes greatness comes in moments the world barely sees coming. In the 2018 World Cup, Son Heung-min arrived with the weight of a nation pressing down on his shoulders. He was South Korea's brightest star, their hope to reach beyond the group stage. But fate can be cruel. After 2 painful losses, the dream was already slipping away. The 3rd and final match of the group seemed like a formality. South Korea was out, mathematically done. But Son wasn't. In that final match, against none other than defending champions Germany, Son wrote a moment into football history that South Koreans would never forget. In the dying moments of the game, he sprinted past a helpless Manuel Neuer and slotted the ball into the back of the net. It was more than a goal. It was redemption. It was a symbol of pride, of resistance, of honor, even in defeat. South Korea won that game 2-0 and eliminated Germany from the tournament. Son didn't take his country to the knockout stage, but he took them to glory in a way no one expected. But while the football world applauded, Son faced a very personal crisis back home, one far removed from the pitch. In South Korea, mandatory military service looms over every man before the age of 28. 21 months of service, non-negotiable, no fame, no exceptions, not even if you're one of Europe's top forwards. The only way out? Achieve something extraordinary for your country in sport. Bring home gold, raise the flag in triumph, and you might earn exemption. The clock was ticking. For Son, 2018's Asian Games were his last realistic chance. It was do or die, not just for pride, but for his career. And when the moment came, Son rose again. South Korea reached the final against their old rivals, Japan. A tense match, played with the pressure of lives hanging in the balance. And when the final whistle blew, South Korea were champions. Son had done it. He didn't just win a gold medal, he earned his freedom. He could continue his career without interruption. And back in Europe, that career was catching fire. Back at Tottenham, Son was quickly becoming more than a fan favourite. He was becoming a world-class force. The 2018-19 season brought unforgettable moments. In the Premier League, Spurs finished 4th, but the true magic was written in the Champions League. That year, Tottenham embarked on a wild, improbable journey to the final, and Son was at the heart of it. He struck in the round of 16 against Borussia Dortmund. Then, in a thrilling quarter-final clash with Manchester City, he stepped up again. In the first leg, he scored the lone goal in a 1-0 win. The second leg in Manchester was chaos. 7 goals, VAR controversy, and breathtaking drama. Son scored twice. Though Spurs lost 4-3, they advanced on away goals, thanks largely to him. Then came the miracle in Amsterdam. Tottenham knocked out Ajax in dramatic fashion and booked a ticket to the final. Madrid, the Champions League final. Tottenham versus Liverpool. For Son, it was the biggest game of his life. But football doesn't always follow the script. Spurs never truly settled into the match. Liverpool struck early, and the London side couldn't recover. Son fought, ran, pushed, but it wasn't enough. The dream slipped away in a 2-0 defeat. He ended that season with 48 appearances, 20 goals, and 9 assists. But no trophy, no glory, just hunger for more. And so, as if he hadn't done enough already, he put the Spurs jersey back on, and the national teams too. In January 2019, in the middle of a demanding club season, Son once again flew back to Asia to help South Korea in the Asian Cup. Right away, he made an impact, an assist, a penalty earned, dazzling performances. But the magic didn't last. In the quarter-finals, South Korea fell to Qatar. For Son, it was yet another heartbreak in a long list of almosts. Still, his individual brilliance never faded. In fact, it only grew stronger. By the end of 2019, Son was named the best Asian footballer in the world for the 3rd consecutive year, 2017, 2018, and now 2019, and he would go on to win it again in 2020. In South Korea, he wasn't just admired, he was worshipped, a footballer turned national icon, a hero who carried a country's dreams on his back. But even heroes face setbacks. Tottenham, still chasing a long-awaited title, seemed to stumble under the pressure. The club's results dipped, and Son, so often the engine of their attack, suffered a broken arm that sidelined him for weeks. But the pain of that injury would soon be overshadowed by something far more emotional. In a Premier League match against Everton, Son slid into a challenge with midfielder Andre Gomes. It wasn't malicious, but the outcome was horrific. Gomes suffered a serious leg fracture. Son, upon seeing the result, collapsed in tears on the pitch. The guilt overwhelmed him. It was a heartbreaking scene, one of the sport's kindest, most humble stars completely devastated, not by what he did, but by what had happened. And yet, through all of it, injuries, losses, pressure, Son never stopped moving forward, never stopped smiling, never stopped fighting, because that's who he is. A player who scores goals that silence stadiums, a leader who lifts a nation, a man who carries more than a football on his shoulders. He carries the hearts of millions. Sometimes even the strongest players break. It was supposed to be just another game, another chapter in Son Heung-Min's journey. But in a Premier League match against Everton, things took a terrifying turn. Son slid in for a challenge, late, clumsy, but far from malicious. Yet what followed shocked the football world. Andre Gomes fell awkwardly, and the outcome was devastating, a serious leg fracture. As medical staff rushed onto the field, Son stood there frozen, his eyes wide with horror. And then he broke down. Right there, in front of thousands of fans and millions of viewers, the smiling star of Tottenham fell to his knees and wept uncontrollably. He had never intended to hurt anyone, but the weight of the accident crushed him. The red card came swiftly. But after an official review, the suspension was lifted. The foul was ruled unintentional. Still, that moment left a scar, not on his reputation, but on his heart. Yet just as he always had, Son found a way to rise again. And in 2020, football gave back. Son received the Puskas Award for the most beautiful goal of the year, a masterpiece scored against Burnley. He collected the ball deep in his own half and sprinted past defender after defender like a man possessed, weaving through the opposition until he calmly slotted the ball into the net. It was more than a goal. It was art. It was a reminder of why football, in its purest form, can make the world stop. That same year, as the world came to a halt during the COVID-19 pandemic, Son used the unexpected break in football to fulfill a duty that loomed over every South Korean man: military service. For 21 days, he trained with discipline and pride, completing basic training with the South Korean army. And true to who he is, he did it with a smile on his face, later admitting that he actually enjoyed the experience and learned a lot from it. Back on the pitch, Son continued to deliver. In the 2020-21 season, he played 41 matches, scored 18 goals, and provided 11 assists. Tottenham, however, struggled. Without Champions League football, they had to settle for the Europa League, but even that journey was cut short. Pressure mounted. The club's expensive squad couldn't find results. Jose Mourinho was sacked. Ryan Mason took over, but the instability remained. Spurs' only real hope came in the English League Cup, where they reached the final, but fell 1-0 to Manchester City. Another runner-up medal. Another almost. Son once again stood out as one of the top performers: 51 appearances, 22 goals, 17 assists. But the trophy cabinet remained empty. By 2021-22, Tottenham had slipped even further on the European stage. No Champions League, no Europa League, just the UEFA Conference League, a competition most top clubs barely took seriously. But even then, Spurs couldn't make an impact. Still, in the Premier League, Son had the season of his life. He was electric, unstoppable, lethal in front of goal. When the dust settled, Son had done the unthinkable. He finished as the joint top scorer of the Premier League, alongside Liverpool's Mohamed Salah. With 24 goals in 45 games and 8 assists, he made history as the first Asian player ever to win the Golden Boot in England. That moment didn't just belong to him, it belonged to every South Korean kid who ever dared to dream. In November 2022, Son returned to the global stage for his third World Cup. South Korea found themselves in a tight group, but managed to fight their way into the round of 16. Son was crucial, especially in the decisive match against Portugal, where he assisted the winning goal. But in the knockout stage, they faced Brazil, a team overflowing with talent, including his club teammate and friend Richarlison. South Korea fell 4-1. The dream ended there. The following season, 2022-23, marked a low point in Son's club career. His form dipped sharply. In the entire first half of the Premier League season, he scored only 4 goals, and 3 of them came in a single game. It was a slow, frustrating start to what would become a forgettable season. Tottenham faltered as well. There were no trophies, no progress, and no Harry Kane. With Kane's departure, something shifted. Son wasn't just the star anymore. He became the captain, the leader, the face of a club that was searching for identity. And when he was handed the captain's armband, Son's words were simple but powerful. "It's an honor to be captain of this great club." It was a surprise, but a moment of immense pride. I told my teammates that we should all feel like captains, on and off the pitch. It's a new season, a new beginning, and I will give everything for this badge and this armband. Under his leadership, Tottenham started the season strong, even topping the Premier League table for a brief spell. Son played with passion, guiding a new generation forward. By the end of the season, he had been directly involved in 27 goals across 37 matches. To date, Son Heung-min has played 408 games for Tottenham, scoring 162 goals and providing 84 assists, making him the club's 4th all-time top scorer. Yet for all that brilliance, for all those records, he still hasn't won a single trophy at club level. In total, across his entire career, Son has played 773 games, scored 211 goals, and delivered 98 assists, and the hunger for silverware still burns in his eyes. Between January and February of 2024, Son wore his national colours once again for another Asian Cup. He was brilliant, 3 goals and an assist in 6 matches. But in the semi-final, South Korea was stunned by Jordan. Another heartbreak. Another moment where the dream slipped just out of reach. He has now played 127 games for South Korea, scored 48 goals, and made 20 assists, and yet still no major titles with his country. But maybe that's what makes Son's story so compelling. He isn't just a superstar. He's someone who's had to fight for everything. Every goal, every assist, every bit of recognition. He's charismatic. He's humble. He's the kind of player who bows to the crowd after scoring, respects every opponent, and never complains when the odds are against him. He may not have a trophy cabinet full of silverware, but he's won something even rarer. The love of an entire nation, the respect of the football world, and a legacy built not on medals, but on character, heart, and relentless drive. If you made it this far into the story, thank you. If this journey moved you even a little, share it. Comment below. What's your favorite Son moment? Do you think he'll finally win a title? Let's talk about it. And remember, next week, there's more. Until then, take care. See you soon.